I am probably talking about history of mythology because, well, back then I was in high school. We were talking about mythology and the and ancient stuff like Greek gods and goddesses, and the story behind it all back in high school and what happened. So I was watching a video, and it was a short live, and it was on here, and this is a true story about Medusa. Um, it turns out that Poseidon is not really a good guy. Not really a good guy. His only The only thing I can remember is that Medusa rejected him, but then again, Poseidon raped her, and that was like the whole story. But then Athena didn't believe Medusa, so she sent her away, but also cursed her because she broke the law of celibacy, which is a word I probably won't know, but it's a law where if you break the law of the Greek gods, basically all your lies, like you're telling lies, because Medusa can never be trusted. She is an evil woman, but she wasn't lying about being raped. So she broke the law. Athena made her to where she was, and to the lady snake. She goes by Medusa. That was her real name. She is also a Greek goddess, but she's not now. So she is an evil goddess. She was turned into the Lady of the Snakes, where her hair is snakes, and she will turn people into stone. That's her power. So till this day, even though the Greek gods and goddesses are all stone, I go to the museum now and then, and the true story behind it all is what I'm telling you. So Poseidon was never sent away. He never died. Well, he did die. They all died. The Greek gods are real, but they all died. So we don't know. We don't know the tragic story behind their death. All I know is that they died out of old age, or probably, I don't know. Someone told me old age. But behind Poseidon's entire story of why he would rape Medusa, it's because he loved her, and she didn't. She didn't love him. She rejected him, but he took that rejection as an acceptance to, invite himself in. Basically, invite himself in is having sex. So it was rape back in the day. She rejected him, and he forced himself upon her. And then Athena didn't believe in the lies, so Medusa broke that law of celibacy, like I said. And then next thing you know, is that Athena ended up believing Medusa, and actually her lies turned into the true story. So Athena broke the curse, didn't make her the Lady of Snake, but she still is Lady of Snake. But Athena still believes her sister, or priestess. I don't know the entire story. But now Poseidon is left. The entire story is all blank to me now, of how Poseidon worked and what he done. So I believe all of these mythology is that Medusa was raped by Poseidon, and she rejected him, but he took that as an invitation to invite himself in, basically have sex with her, which is rape. And back in the Greek days, where the gods and goddesses were still around, and that was probably in the BC or AC, I don't remember. So till this day, the story is unremained, but we all know the story and the tragic story, how this became what it was. I'm kind of sad to say that Medusa didn't do anything wrong, but rejected him. And Poseidon's not a good man. Like, let's be honest. The king of the seas, raping Medusa, like there's some type of reason why he would do that. But the story behind it was so tragic, like I said, and I already mentioned the story, and I'm not going to say it again. But I have long awaited to actually tell you guys the story and the discussion of it. How I know is because I watched the story about it, and I actually watched a lot of history tonight. So last night I was watching some history of mythology, of Greek gods and goddesses, and the true story behind Medusa and what really happened to her, if she was raped or not. The story was true. Come to think of it, Poseidon was so ignorant and eager to rape her without knowing the prophecy. So the prophecy remains still intact. So whatever went down back in Greek and the olden days of AC or BC, where the gods and goddesses were still around, the story still remains as a mystery. But the story has been The story has been told by me and many, but till this day you're not supposed to mention it because, well, there's a saying: you mention the true story behind the mythology of the Greek gods and goddesses, you will be cursed. But that's not true because there's no real curse. So now I'm going to talk about Medusa. Medusa is Lady of the Snake. Yes, like I said, Lady of the Snake. Her hair would be snakes. She is able to turn people into stone, and I'm believing she turned Poseidon into stone and Athena into stone. So the Greek gods and goddesses of the museum are all stone. So my entire thing is so blank. I believe she turned them into stone, and now they're portrait around every museums of mythology and history. So any museum you go to, if it's the Romans or the Romania ones, or and Greek or Greece or whatever museum, they're also around here. They're all stone, and I believe Medusa turned them. Medusa's still alive, I believe. She's not stone. I don't think she is. But she turned everybody into stone. They're actually portraited around every museum in stone. So you can see them in the Museum of History. So it's kind of amazing. And I actually want to take some pictures of them when I do end up going to the Museum of History, of the Mythology Museum. So when I end up going, I will take some pictures of them in stone. I love to, learn my mythology. There may be myths, but Greek gods and goddesses were like my thing. Because I watched Hercules back in the day, like the kid version, the Disney version, and then the real version and stuff like that. Back whenever the real version was around, Hercules, the real life one, it was amazing. Because when I was a kid, I watched it, and I had the DVD or the VCR thing where it just, what I'm on about. Yeah, that. So, yeah. But yeah, more about the history of Medusa and what really happened, the tragic story behind it all, will be in a part 2, discussing it and what really happened and what happened to Poseidon and the entire gang, and if Medusa is still alive. So we don't know if she's still around. So she may have stoned herself. So I don't know. We're gonna find out. And I'm going to find out because I'm going to go look that up myself. So stay tuned for part 2 of discussing about the true story behind the mythology life of Medusa. Because, God knows, I cannot wait to discuss this again.